Here's a question. Should public schools focus on academics only, things like reading and writing, or are they responsible for more? That question has been tackled in Newberg over the last year, and it does not appear anywhere that there is an end in sight. Last night, 2 members of the school board resigned, saying they could no longer deal with the board's conservative majority. The controversy started about a year ago, but the school board's conservative majority proposed a ban on Pride and Black Lives Matter flags. They later expanded that to include anything they called a political symbol. They said they wanted the schools to focus on academics only without distractions. But opponents said the ban specifically targeted students of color and LGBTQ students who face greater danger of bullying and mental health concerns in schools. Then the board fired the district superintendent without cause. This all happened while Newberg was making national headlines for racist incidents in the school, including an online virtual slave trade on Snapchat that students put together and pretended to auction off black classmates, and a staff member who showed up for work in blackface. In turn, a group tried to recall the board's conservative chair and vice chair, but a majority of voters said no, and they kept their jobs. Earlier this year, one of the Liberal board members, Inés Peña, resigned, saying the board had become a toxic work environment. And last night at the board meeting, the 2 remaining Liberal board members also quit, starting with Rebecca Pyros.
The board's actions and decisions this past year has broken my heart, and therefore I'm submitting my resignation from the Newberg School Board tonight. I find I can no longer work with people who I feel do not have the best interest of every student and every staff member at heart. It has been my deepest privilege and honor to serve the community of Newberg and Dundee for the past 20 years.
Pyros promised to find ways to support students in the future. Right after Pyros resigned, school board member Brandy Penner also announced she was leaving the board.
While words like transparency, parental voice, and fiscal conservatism came from the board, actions like name-calling, homophobic slurs, rampant abuse of power, and disregard for public meeting laws and tax dollars are happening. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and what I have experienced on this board for the last 3 years has brought back far too many personal memories of abuse. Colleagues telling me that their atrocious and abusive behavior was in fact my fault, that the name calling, the sexism, and the outright disrespect were my fault because I refused to break the law and let students and educators suffer open harassment and discrimination. No one deserves to be treated poorly, called names, laughed at, and disregarded.
We talked with Penner today. She said she and Pyros had been planning together to resign from the board, but they wanted to get through the school year first. She said they reached a point, though, where they couldn't get anything done with the board members at odds with each other. She said the 2 sides of the board have a fundamental disagreement over the role schools play in a community.
That they didn't feel that the school was a place to support students. It was supposed to be only academic. That's terrifying. Things like system based solely on merit. So either you succeed or you don't, and it's not the school's place to support them or offer emotional supports or mental health supports. So my fear is that those are the things that they will go after next. It is heartless. It is absolutely heartless to know that we have students who rely on those adults in those classrooms and in those schools to offer, counseling, social services, nutrition. There's so many things. And to know that they would purposely go after and try to get those services taken away from the most neediest kids, it's unconscionable.
She said the school board has been a place where she has been bullied.
There was a heated disagreement at one point, and I was called a spoiled brat. I was called a liar. I was dismissed as not knowing what I was talking about. That I shouldn't be there. Nobody wanted to sit next to me. Nobody liked me.
For now, Penner says she can be more effective advocating for students away from the school board. We reached out to the school board chair, Dave Brown, one of the members of the conservative majority who survived the recall attempt. He did not respond to our request for comment. But we did hear from a parent who said she gets why Penner and Pyros stepped down.
I understood right away. I I feel so deeply for them, how much they went through in the last year, knowing that nothing they could ever say, nothing that they could ever do, or the way they could vote would ever matter, because the school board majority was not interested in working with them. You know, they clearly have an agenda. They're moving forward, and it kind of makes the other people on the board, you know, sort of useless. And so why would I couldn't imagine myself returning to an environment as a volunteer over and over again, only to be interrupted, silenced, made fun of, laughed at, argued with.
It's now up to the remaining board members to appoint replacements for Penner and Pyros until the election, which is next May.